station or our participating sponsors.
family. It is 7:12, and on this 10th day of November already, and this is the Salim Muwakil Show on WVON. The Talk of Chicago, 1690 on your radio dial. You can also catch us streaming by downloading iHeart apps to your various devices or by directing your computer browser to WVON.com. I thank you for tuning into this crucial cathedral of critical thinking. And here we are at the cultural epicenter of Black Chicago, the place where we spend a little time every Saturday night just checking out what's happening on this turbulent planet and trying to figure out where we fit, taking part in what we've come to call conscious journalism. As usual, you can get in on this process just by dialing 773-591-1690 on your telephone, and you can join America's most astute radio audience and join in this conversation. And there's one requirement, however, when you get through, and that's just to be respectful. And that's an easy thing for you guys to do, so I know that's not a hard requirement to fulfill. So family, get ready to flex your powerful, and I mean powerful, mind muscles. Because at the 7 on Saturday, it is time for Salim, live and in person, from WVON's Xfinity Studios. And again, our number is 773-591-1690. Well, you know, it's been another event-packed news week, and there's much to talk about. A lot has transpired, you know, there was the so-called midterm elections, you know, there was a blue wave in Chicago, in Illinois at least, and an ever-growing blue wave in the country as well. You know, it's ever-growing because as time goes on, there are more people are winning elections, closely contested elections, and it's becoming clearer, the pattern. A lot of women were victorious, a lot of black women were victorious, even where there was, you know, some disappointment in Florida, you know, with Andrew Gillum. There now appears to be some hope that he has still a chance of success. So there was, pretty significant blue wave in the country. Congress changed hands, at least one house of Congress, the House. And in Illinois, Pritzker won easily, and as it was expected. He took the gubernatorial race from Rauner, who really didn't have anything to run on. So there was really little doubt that he would win, JB. The only closely watched race in statewide was really the Attorney General race with Kwame Raoul and Erica Harold, and two black folks, by the way. So that was watched closely, but you know, my Facebook thing just messed up on me. Okay. So yeah, people watched that, and there was some question as to how Kwame would do, you know, because he didn't seem to be that popular downstate. Erica was a former beauty queen, a black woman, and a conservative, so she seemed to have an unbeatable kind of electoral combination, or at least an untested, an unusual combination. She represented a weird kind of hybrid, and so people were watching that pretty closely. But you know, the organization pulled it out for Kwame, and some of his own qualities. You know, he's an attractive candidate. He was running on some very very popular issues, and he hit at the right time. He had an exotic name like his predecessor, who was Barack Obama. He was Kwame Raoul. These exotic names, maybe there was a little bit of pride and exoticism or something, something like that. Anyway, he won. pretty handily, as a matter of fact. So he beat Harrell by double digits. It was an impressive display. And it was also an impressive display of the electoral wherewithal by the Democratic Party and the coming of age of some black strategists, who were involved in the upset win of Lauren Underwood in the 14th district against Randy Hootkin, and that's a predominantly white district. So that was significant. So let's not be dismissive of that blue wave as people are tending to do, including many Democrats. They're downplaying it. And I think the reason why they're doing that is because they don't want to seem to be giving too much credit to the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. They want to maintain that kind of moderate orientation. They're still a little afraid of this upsurge that is being modeled by Sister in New York and Sister in Massachusetts, and some other breaking national news on this election front. Like I said, Florida's Secretary of State today ordered residents in both gubernatorial and the Senate races in Florida recount. He ordered them both. The Secretary, Ken Detzner, he issued the order after updated unofficial results in both races fell within the margin of 5.5% or lower, which is the amount that requires a recount by law. So the results showed that Republican Governor Rick Scott had a 0.16, 1.6 lead over Nelson, the Democrat, Bill Nelson, in the Senate race. And Republican Ron DeSantis had a 0.42 lead over Democrat Andrew Gillum, the brother, in the governor's race. And Gillum had already conceded because he was trying to be extremely compliant, as black folks have to be. So as soon as there seemed to be an official announcement that he had lost, he said, well, okay, I lost, man. I'm a good man. I understand. I lost. Now it appears that he was a bit too quick to concede. Now, moments after the news broke that the recount was in effect, Trump, apparently in reaction to it, he said, he tweeted out, trying to steal two big elections in Florida. We're watching closely, he tweeted, as Trump, your president. Meanwhile, the electoral controversy continues in neighboring Georgia, where Stacey Abrams, who seeks to become the nation's first female governor, is contesting the narrow victory of Brian Kemp, who is already claimed victory, and he's pretty confident that he has the votes. In fact, the day's campaign, they issued a statement. They said it was mathematically impossible for Abrams to even force a runoff, much less to win. And it calls her refusal to concede a disgrace to democracy, as if Kemp's boss's mere presence on the political scene isn't a disgrace to democracy. But that's another matter. They said it completely ignores the will of the people. But members of the civil rights groups like the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and the NAACP, all right, they held a small rally urging Abrams to keep fighting until every vote is counted. And that's a very impressive sister, and she says she's going to keep doing it, For someone to rise that high in Georgia, in a state like Georgia, is an impressive thing. To attract that wide range of support. And it's the same with Brother Andrew Gillum. And after seeing him perform in some of those debates, I'm impressed. He's an impressive cat, you know. He has a very ingratiating way of making his point. And it's not a simple point, it's a nuanced point, but he does it in a way that's not complicated, you know. He manages to do that pretty well. Unofficial returns in the Georgia thing, it shows that Kemp, with 50.3% of almost 4 million votes, which is about a 63,000 vote lead over Abrams. The margin itself is enough for an outright Kemp victory if the totals remain the same. But it's a tight race, and it was a very large turnout, so it may not. And Abrams has argued that tens of thousands of provisional and military ballots need to be counted before the race is over, you know. So we're still waiting for that. It would be nice, and ironic and historic and all of that if both of those races went to a recount or something like that. Keep fighting. It was always going to be hard. It's implausible almost to think of that, you know, black governors of those two states. So keep fighting. Meanwhile, the city of Thousand Oaks, California remains in mourning, really, after this former Marine opened fire at a country music bar Wednesday. He killed 12 people, mostly students. It was the deadliest mass shooting in the U.S. since, in 9 months, since February, and since the Parkland, Florida shootings. Police ID'd the cat as a 28-year-old guy named Ian David Long, a Marine veteran who had been in Afghanistan, killing Muslims. Dispatched to kill Muslims, so he can't, so he was programmed that way, and he had a history of mental health issues, they say, as they often do when there are these white murderers, and including a possible PTSD, which, would be a combat kind of injury, which is something they also often say for these crazy white folks when they go off. The fact that, these serious cases of domestic terrorism were carried out by 3 white men, that Robert Bowers killed 11 folks in Pittsburgh, 11 Jews, as he said, all Jews must die, clearly anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, murderous, and he was this white cat. Gregory Bush killed 2 random black people in Louisville, Kentucky. We didn't hear much about that. And this, he killed them right after he was denied entry into this church, a black church. He was going into there fully armed. But he killed these folks at this Kroger's market in Kentucky. And Ian Long in Thousand Oaks, California. Now, all these 3 share that same characteristic. They're white men. Don Lemon made that point. CNN's dude, who used to be in Chicago, he made that point. He said that, why are we so concerned with all these other people when the terrorists are the most, the most dangerous men in America are white men? They're the ones who are doing all this killing. Why aren't we, orienting our dragnets in that direction? Why aren't they profiled in a more stringent way? Which is what he asked, of course. We know why. But he made that point. And then after this latest killing, Lennon also said that he asked Trump, which caravan did these killers come in on? Of course, making fun of the president's attempt to use this way off caravan of asylum seekers as some sort of menacing march of murderous aliens into the country. He scared his base, his very heroic base. He scared them to death with that image, with that specter, and help boost the votes of his minions. And so Lennon was making Lennon